What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So the prejudging in the finals just wrapped up tonight, Friday night. Prejudging for men's open bodybuilding, the finals for Classic Physique. So this is the first year ever that at the Arnold Classic they did a 2-day show. So that's what the Olympia does. No other show does it. But for whatever reason, this year they decided to do prejudging on Friday instead of at noon on Saturday. So usually they have like 5 or 6 hours between the prejudging and the night show on any other given year, but this year they got a whole day to try to improve upon how they looked at prejudging to how they look tomorrow. So first we'll get to the Classic Physique results. So Terrence Ruffin ended up winning there, which was not the most exciting or controversial placing we saw. That's going to be Breon's placing. So Breon wound up in 4th. In between those two placings, 1st and 4th, were the two guys that everybody's been talking about. Ramon Roca, a.k.a. Ramon Dino, the Brazilian guy that pretty much everybody has been talking about leading up to this show. And then in 3rd place, you had Urs Kalsinski. So this was a little bit of an interesting turn of events because at the Olympia, 2 and 3 were Breon and Terrence. Breon was 3rd at the Olympia, Urs was 4th, and Ramon was 5th. And the big question going into this show was whether or not the two of them were going to be able to finally pass up Breon, because Breon presented really the biggest obstacle to them winning the show or placing high, because Breon, former Mr. Olympia winner 2 times, he was the only other guy in this lineup that's won the Arnold Classic. I think he won 2018, so he was on paper next to Terrence. I mean, he was kind of the favorite to win, besides the fact that Terrence was the returning defending champion from last year. So Breon taking 4th to me was a bit of a shocker. Honestly, me and Breon had our back and forths back in the day, but to look at this from a completely neutral perspective, when I was watching prejudging, I thought for sure the lowest that Breon could be would have been 3rd. Going into the show, my prediction was that Breon was going to be 2nd. And then looking at Urs, who was the guy that ended up placing directly ahead of Breon, I thought at prejudging Urs looked a little bit flat. He looked a little bit off compared to how he's been looking at his pictures. And again, Breon beat Urs at the Olympia. So I didn't think there was really great odds of him beating him here. That being said, what we saw with Ramon and Breon, all throughout prejudging, they had Ramon in the middle. And I kept saying that in the prejudging video that I did earlier today. I thought it was strange I kept Breon on the outside but kept Ramon in the middle. So it already looked like that's what the judges were going to go with at prejudging. So I wasn't as surprised with Ramon beating Breon as I was with Urs beating him. So that being said, those are your placings, 1st through 4th. Those are the guys we've been talking about this whole time. The real big surprise there, not Terrence winning, but more so Breon slipping 2 placings behind 2 guys that he just beat at the Olympia. All right, so men's open bodybuilding, the prejudging today on Friday. Not as surprising as what we saw with Classic Physique. What we saw with men's open bodybuilding was pretty much exactly what I predicted. So this is probably going to be the first time that I have a shot at getting all 6 of the top 6 placings correct. So basically what we saw here, the first call out, you were going to have Justin, Bonac, Curry, Kuklo. You had Brett Wilkin, and the other guy was Samson Dauda. So that was exactly what I predicted in the top 6. Not in that order, but that was who I picked for the top 6. Now, after they did that top 6 call-out, they did a final 4 call-out with Bonac, Kuklo, Brandon, and Justin. So Justin came out, and Justin was the guy that really impressed me the most. We saw these updates from Justin. I showed you guys the side tricep, the side relax, and the back double bicep that Justin sent me this morning. And all throughout this prep, I've been talking about how conditioned Justin looks like he is. Him and Steve both have really stood out to me as the 2 guys that have really looked like they're the most in shape at whatever point they were in their prep. When you saw the updates from the other guys, they didn't look nearly as vascular or separated as Steve and Justin both did. But Justin came out, and I think, listening to the crowd react, I think the crowd had kind of the same opinion that I did, is that I think Justin was arguably the most shredded guy in the lineup. And I think, so let's go through my predictions. Here's what I said was going to happen. 1st place, I said Brandon. 2nd place, I had Bonac. 3rd place, I had Justin. 4th place, I had Steve Kuklo. I had Brett in 5th, and I had Samson in 6th. It looks like your top 3 is definitely going to be Justin, Bonac, and Curry. It looks like Steve Kuklo is definitely going to be 4th based on that 4-man call-out that they did with Bonac, Kuklo, Brandon, and Justin. So that being said, the only placing that I think that I might not have gotten right was Brett Wilkin. Now, the interesting part about that is people thought my prediction with Brett was going to be wrong because he was going to be higher. I think my prediction with Brett is going to be wrong because he's going to be lower. They did a separate call-out. After they did the 4-man call-out and the 6-man call-out, they did a call-out of just Samson and Brett. And honestly, I think Samson looked miles better than Brett did. Brett's a really good bodybuilder. Second to Hunter Labrada at the Chicago Pro. Obviously, he's got a lot of hype going into the show. A lot of people predicting him to place high. Phil Heath even predicting him to place second. I think there's no chance of that happening. And I think the Brett Wilkin hype, on one hand, I can see where it's coming from. But on the other hand, like I've been saying this whole time, he's a guy that's only competed in one pro show. The Chicago Pro was the only show he's done. And almost every other competitor in this lineup has not only competed in multiple shows, but they've all won a show. So not only is Brett not as experienced, but he hasn't been successful as most of these other guys have. So that's why I was hesitant to give Brett a high prediction in my prediction video, because he's got no track record of giving me any reason to believe that he would. So I think this is still going to be a huge accomplishment for him if he places top 6. I had him in 5th in my predictions. I really don't see him ahead of Samson at this point. Samson's back, crazy amount of detail. And the thing that I was noticing about Brett when he was posing, it looked like his midsection was a little bit washed out. He had like a little bit of distension, and one of the things that was a strong point for Brett going into this, I think, was a lot of people talking about the V-taper that Brett had. And I didn't really see that as much of a strong point tonight. Seeing the washed out midsection and the little bit of distension, I don't think the V-taper was what people were so excited about. The other thing with Brett, I think he needs to add some size to his legs. His upper body's really good. He's got great shoulders, great chest, great arms. His back's pretty decent. But like I said, the midsection, I think, was slipping a little bit. The legs need some improvement. And overall, I think when you saw Samson next to him, the detail that Samson had, I think that's going to give him the edge. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I know a lot of you guys would have liked to see Brett place higher, but I really think I'm going to stick with my original predictions. Curry winning, Bonac in 2nd, Justin in 3rd, Kuklo in 4th, 5th place. I'm still going to put Brett in 5th, but I have a feeling that Samson is going to place ahead of him. But I want to make a video saying that I'm going to stick with my original predictions just in case I finally get all 6 right. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Cedric here or Akeem. I saw Akeem in the lobby. Cedric was supposed to be at the meet and greet, but I didn't see him there. But Akeem was here. He looked like he was not planning on competing anytime soon. But with them in the lineup, my predictions were going to be Akeem in 5th and Cedric in 6th, but they're not here. So when I updated it, that's when I bumped up Brett and Samson. But anyway, let me know your guys' prediction in the comment section down below. We're almost at 8 minutes, so I can almost put a mid-roll on this video. So I hope you guys are enjoying the Arnold Classic. If you guys are here attending or you guys are watching from home, I hope you guys are having fun and enjoying the second biggest night in bodybuilding, but soon to become the biggest night in bodybuilding as the Olympia slowly slips behind what is the greatest expo in the history of bodybuilding, the Arnold Classic. I don't think it's even close between the two. But anyway, guys, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.